kindly remind all of you, so main royal opening ceremony is running, so please switch off your mobile phone or turn it into the silent. Thank you.
Enggak, langsung hidupin aja. Tayangnya.
Jepang salah satu kota yang paling terkenal di Bali. Terima kasih sudah bersedia dan sudah Perkenalkan saya Sonia memberikan informasi mengenai prosedur keamanan sebelum Anda mulai kegiatan. Saat ini Anda sedang berada di bawah dari wilayah pribadi. Sebagai prosedur keamanan, hotel ini dilengkapi dengan fasilitas fire protection, smoke detector, safe room, hydrant, public announcements, dan area jalan. Apabila saat ini Anda sedang berada di upper floor, pintu dapat terletak di depan Anda. Sedangkan jika Anda berada di lower floor, pintu dapat terletak di kiri Anda. Bila terjadi kebakaran di tempat itu, pembeli boleh terletak di lantai dan tempat parkir.
Ini persennya ada di sini. Kita ada gitu.
Apabila Anda sedang berada di dalam kamar, mohon ikuti petunjuk keselamatan yang terpasang di jendela di kamar. Bila Anda mendengar alarm, tetap tenang dan jangan panik. Kami akan menyampaikan melalui pengeras suara yang terletak di seluruh area resepsi. Staf kami akan menemani Anda menuju area aman. Sekian dan terima kasih atas perhatiannya. Selamat beraktivitas dan menikmati pengalaman tak terlupakan sebelum dewasa bersama dengan pribadi.
So once again, we call the invite to all delegates, participants who are still outside the ballroom. Please proceed to the ballroom and take your seat. Soon we will start the opening ceremony in a few minutes. Thank you.
Udah live ya mas? Kalau saya mau share linknya ke siapa? Kita udah siaran live di YouTube. ini siapa tahu teman-teman KLH butuh linknya buat disebar gitu.
Oh gitu. Udah mau mulai.
Jadi ini agak,
On ya Pak ya?
udah ini agak gelap ya emang sengaja ruangannya ya.
Iya karena cat. Ya nggak apa-apa. Nggak butuh presentasi aja.
Oh. Tes. Tes.
Jadi sistem delegasinya sama ya?
Ya.
Ada tambahan. Yang kemarin research, jadi ada UK sama Saudi.
So once again, we cordially invite to all delegates, participants who are still outside the ballroom. So please proceed to the ballroom and take your seats. So we will start the opening ceremony in shortly. Thank you.
Baik Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, kami mengundang Bapak Ibu yang masih berada di luar. Kami persilakan untuk memasuki tempat acara, karena sesaat lagi acara akan dimulai. Terima kasih.
Ladies and gentlemen, kindly have your attention, please. The ministers, vice minister, is proceed to the ballroom. Please give a round of applause.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates, kindly take your seats. The Fourth Intergovernmental Review Meeting of the Global Program of Action is about to begin. Let me firstly express our condolence to the recently aircraft. Let's have 1 minute silence. Thank you. We have come here today to build on this huge political momentum. The pollution is one of the crucial issues to solve in our mankind. And pollution is closely linked to health, not only for the environment, but also for the human mankind. And we have seen a tremendous global momentum. We just had our ocean conference that was really frequently and generously hosted by Indonesia just 2 days before this important meeting start. And I wanted to showcase and give you a story of my own experience. I come from a very Nordic country, and today we have a snowstorm. The first picture I ever seen of Bali was a beautiful postcard with palm trees, and it was an imagination I could never imagine existing. And this picture have lived in my whole life. And when I finally arrived in Bali, it's just confirming this fantastic environment where we actually have the opportunity to host this meeting. But let me also remind you that those beautiful postcards with beautiful beaches in environmental sound environment is not for granted. We know that beaches are floating by plastic, the wastewater and nutrients, and other pollutants. So let's continue to work, that we continue sending those postcards, the beautiful postcards around the world, to inspire the young people, the next generation, not only come to Bali, but also to protect its own environment for the future. Let me now hand over to the Master of Ceremony, Agung and Irma, that will guide us through those 2 days. Thank you.
Selamat pagi dan selamat datang kami ucapkan kepada seluruh hadirin yang telah hadir pada hari ini di Pulau Bali, pulau yang terkenal dengan keindahan alam, seni, dan budayanya. Sebagai ungkapan selamat datang akan kami persembahkan tarian penyambutan, tari Sekar Jepun. Sekar Jepun merupakan salah satu jenis bunga yang cantik dan memiliki aroma yang harum. Selain memiliki aroma yang harum, bunga ini juga memiliki warna yang beragam seperti putih, merah, ungu, dan kuning. Tari Sekar Jepun ini dijadikan tari maskot Kabupaten Badung yang menceritakan tentang keindahan bunga Jepun dengan berbagai warna dan bentuknya untuk dipersembahkan menyambut para tamu undangan dalam suatu acara.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning and welcome to Bali, the island of paradise, the island of arts and culture. And as a warmest welcome, we will present a Balinese dance entitled Sekar Jepun. Sekar Jepun is one type of flower which besides have a fragrant aroma, this flower also has a variety of colors. The Sekar Jepun dance considered as mascot dance of Badung Regency. This dance tells about the beauty of flowers, represented for welcoming all the guests for coming to Bali Island. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sekar Jepun dance. Ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause for the Sekar Jepun dance, already presented for welcoming all of you in this conference. Excellency, the Minister of Forestry and Environment of Republic of Indonesia, the Minister of Tourism and Environment of Republic of Congo, the Secretary of State for Environment of Timor-Leste, the Vice Minister of Environment and Natural Resources of Guatemala, Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs, Trade, Tourism, Environment and Labor of Tuvalu, the Governor of Bali, the speakers, head of delegates with all of delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen.
Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, merupakan sebuah kehormatan dan kebanggaan di hari yang berbahagia ini bahwasannya Indonesia melalui Kementerian Lingkungan Hidup dan Kehutanan menjadi tuan rumah penyelenggaraan IGR yang keempat. Dan hari ini kita berkumpul bersama di Bali, khususnya di Inaya Putri Bali Hotel Nusa Dua, yang merupakan tempat terselenggaranya event ini selama 2 hari mendatang.
It is a great honor and pleasure. In this very important moment, we are able to gather here on the opening ceremony of the Fourth Intergovernmental Review Meeting and the implementation of the Global Program of Action for the Protection of the Marine Environment from Land-Based Activities, today, the 31st of October 2018, here at Inaya Putri Bali, Nusa Dua.
Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, seluruh rangkaian acara pada hari ini akan diawali dengan sambutan selamat datang Gubernur Bali. Kepada Bapak Wayan Koster, kami silakan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome speech of the Governor of Bali. You may take the floor.
Om Swastiastu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, shalom, namo buddhaya, rahayu. Yang terhormat Ibu Menteri Lingkungan Hidup dan Kehutanan Republik Indonesia. Yang mulia perwakilan negara-negara anggota Perserikatan Bangsa-Bangsa PBB, Sekretariat UN Environmental. Yang saya hormati para pembicara, para undangan dan peserta pertemuan yang berbahagia. Marilah kita mengucapkan puja dan puji syukur kehadapan Hyang Widiwasa, Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, karena atas perkenannya kita bersama-sama dapat hadir pada pertemuan yang sangat penting pagi hari ini dalam keadaan sehat dan berbahagia. Saya menyampaikan selamat datang di Pulau Bali, Pulau Dewata yang kita cintai bersama, kepada para peserta pertemuan yang datang dari seluruh penjuru dunia. Merupakan suatu kehormatan dan kepercayaan bagi pemerintah daerah dan masyarakat Bali, karena telah ditunjuk sebagai tempat pertemuan the Fourth Government Review Meeting on the implementation of the Global Program of Action for the Protection of the Marine Environment from Land-Based Activities yang dihadiri oleh lebih dari 400 peserta dari 108 negara. Kehadiran Bapak Ibu sekalian di Pulau Bali telah secara langsung ikut mendorong pemajuan pembangunan perekonomian masyarakat Bali, khususnya di bidang kepariwisataan. Vibrasi dan keindahan alam Bali serta keramah tamahan masyarakatnya akan memberikan kekuatan dan inspirasi bagi seluruh peserta, sehingga saya yakin pertemuan ini akan berlangsung dengan baik, lancar, dan sukses. Kita semua berharap banyak pertemuan ini akan menghasilkan berbagai rumusan mengenai hal-hal terbaik bagi kemajuan pembangunan, perlindungan, dan pelestarian laut, dan dampak negatif kegiatan berbasis daratan untuk mencapai kesejahteraan masyarakat dunia yang berkeadilan. Sebagai informasi, kami menyampaikan bahwa prioritas kami pembangunan di Bali ke depan adalah membangun keharmonisan dan kesucian alam, manusia, dan budaya Bali yang akan dilakukan dengan melalui sejumlah program konservasi, baik itu konservasi laut, danau, sungai, serta sumber-sumber mata air yang sekarang ini sudah mengalami polusi yang dalam taraf sangat mengkhawatirkan kami semua di Bali. Karena Bali membutuhkan ketersediaan air yang cukup, yang bersih, yang bisa mendukung kebutuhan masyarakat Bali maupun juga wisatawan mancanegara. Ibu Menteri yang terhormat dan hadirin yang saya hormati, komitmen bersama antar negara-negara anggota Perserikatan Bangsa-Bangsa, perwakilan non-government, Sekretariat UN, Environmental ini dapat dituangkan dalam bentuk Bali Declaration untuk melestarikan lingkungan laut dan daratan secara berkelanjutan. Kami punya program berdasarkan kearifan lokal Bali yang dinamakan dengan Segara Kerti, bagaimana melindungi laut dan pesisir. Ada program yang namanya Danu Kerti, melindungi sumber-sumber mata air, danau, sungai, dan sumber mata air yang lainnya. Kami punya program namanya Wana Kerti, bagaimana melestarikan hutan. Filosofi kearifan lokal Bali ini akan betul-betul kami jadikan sebagai satu regulasi, kebijakan, dan program untuk menjaga alam manusia Bali agar betul-betul bisa survive dan eksis ke depan. Ini yang perlu kami sampaikan, mudah-mudahan bisa menjadi bahan diskusi dalam forum yang terhormat ini. Demikian yang dapat saya sampaikan pada kesempatan yang baik ini. Semoga pikiran yang jernih datang dari segala penjuru. Selamat berdiskusi, semoga sukses. Sekian dan terima kasih. Om Santi 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 Om. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, selanjutnya kita ikuti bersama sambutan Direktur Eksekutif UNEP yang akan disampaikan oleh Direktur Regional Asia Pasifik.
Ladies and gentlemen, next we kindly invite Regional Director Asia Pacific, Ms. Dehan Sering, on behalf of Executive Director of United Nations Environment to deliver the speech. The floor is yours.
Honorable Minister Ibu Siti Nurbaya Bakar, Minister of Environment and Forestry, Governor of Bali, Ministers, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the UN Environment Program, Mr. Eric Solheim, and on my own behalf, I would like to express heartfelt condolences to the government of Indonesia and the families of the plane crash that happened on 29th of October that took the life of passengers and crew. when the Executive Director, Mr. Eric Solheim, was arriving in Bali on 29th October, we were in the lounge where we met the families and we realized the devastation all across the country. We were very saddened that there were colleagues from the Ministry of Finance, Environment and Forestry, local parliament, members and judges. And while we were preparing this, the UN Environment Program staff, we were getting ready to participate in a number of very important and high-level events over the course of the week in Indonesia. I would like to thank the government of Indonesia and Minister Ibu Siti for hosting the Fourth Intergovernmental Review Meeting on the implementation of the Global Program of Action for the Protection of Marine Biodiversity from Land-Based Activities. This is very important work that has taken place globally over the last few decades, and I've met very many committed colleagues working on this important issue. The engagement of Indonesia in hosting this important meeting after our ocean conference relating to ocean and marine environment demonstrates great commitment and leadership on this very important issue. Land-based marine pollution, including municipal, industrial, agricultural waste, are a critical ocean sustainability and development challenge, both globally and in the Asia-Pacific region. We all know it affects ecosystem health, but also has an adverse impact on the economy and human health. So today, the information on the threats to oceans, how we take out more food than the oceans can produce, and how in turn we put back pollution. When we start to look at the issue of plastic waste, nutrient runoff, untreated water, and we are undermining the ability of oceans to deliver food, other services on which we depend. And if you look at Southeast Asia, this is, nowhere is this more true than here in this region. We have some of the richest marine biodiversity, coral reefs, seagrass beds, mangroves, and a very highly productive marine and coastal environment, and also livelihoods that people in this region depend on. So when we look at the impact of plastic pollution, and in Bali, we look at how it affects small and big tourism industry, but we also look at the positive sort of activities of civil society, the plastic hero cleanup events and bye-bye plastic bags movement. Plastic is not the only land-based type of contaminant that reaches the oceans. We're talking about wastewater, and this is a concern for many countries. And we're talking about 80% of all wastewater enters the ocean and water bodies without treatment. We're looking at harmful pollutants, pathogens, pharmaceuticals, heavy metals, and the consequences on aquatic systems. We look at fertilizer runoff that estimates to 80% of inputs utilized. So we're looking at a lot of fertilizers inputs affecting the water bodies, but very, very low efficiency in agriculture. So we know that the problems of eutrophication leading to dead zones, we know that this really affects a quarter of ecosystems. So when we look at the very close relationship with sustainable and efficient use of agricultural inputs, and which also contribute to poverty, food security, and reduce emissions. So a lot of interrelation. So the linkages, interconnection with human capacity, human activities, our needs, our aspirations, and the protection of marine environment from land-based activities, we have to look at solutions that address such complexity and that span all types of human activities. We're not talking about urbanization, we're talking about how we grow our food, we're talking about our health. So it is not a simple issue, and we have to tackle it. So we'll have to look at a role for all actors. So we have the public advocating for action. We have the role of the government in providing enabling regulatory environment, and we need the private sector to drive investment and innovation. We know that when we address issues like coastal and marine environment, the solutions have to be designed in close partnership, and this is with all of society, with the private sector, civil society, and a very important role of academia to back our work with scientific research. The UN Environment Assembly has agreed on a number of declarations related to the marine environment, to plastic litter, microplastics, sustainable coral reef management, water pollution, and a more general one on oceans and seas, which call for application of an ecosystem approach. We can no longer work in silos, so we have to look at source to sea, rich to reef, and we have to look at how we manage our coastal environment. When we respond to the Manila Declaration that was adopted at the Third Intergovernmental Review of the Global Program of Action, UN Environment has looked at prioritizing pollution sources of marine litter, wastewater, and nutrients. And when we complement and strengthen these efforts, there are 18 regional seas program, and 7 of which are administered by UN Environment Program. In this region alone, we have the coordinating body of Seas of East Asia and the Northwest Pacific Action Plan. And all this work of the regional seas are to tackle marine pollution, nutrient, water, wastewater management. And there's very important work, I was told, that is happening in Philippines and India with support from the Global Program of Action. The Global Program of Action was created in 1995, so it's been a few decades. But when we look at the impact of land-based human activities on the environment, the population increase, agriculture, industrial production, and urbanization, it also reflects the increasingly comprehensive agendas of your meetings. It's reflected in the new direction of the program that member states will consider in this meeting. But to note, this Intergovernmental Review of the Global Program of Action is the only global intergovernmental instrument for addressing land-based pollution and the links between freshwater, land, coastal areas, ecosystem. We know it has to be fit for purpose, but your work is very important to effectively address one of the most important ocean sustainability challenges we face. I look very much forward to hearing the outcomes of your important work, and I wish you a very fruitful meeting. Thank you.
Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, pertemuan IGR yang pertama telah diselenggarakan di Montreal, Kanada pada tahun 2001. Selanjutnya pertemuan IGR kedua di Beijing, China tahun 2006. Dan pertemuan IGR ketiga di Manila, Filipina pada tahun 2012. Di mana pada pertemuan yang ketiga ini telah menghasilkan deklarasi Manila yang berisikan kesepakatan untuk memprioritaskan GPA pada perlindungan lingkungan laut dari sumber pencemaran nutrien, air limbah, dan sampah laut yang berasal dari daratan.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as we know that the first IGR meeting was held in Montreal, Canada in 2001, the second IGR meeting in Beijing, China in 2006, and the third IGR meeting in Manila, Philippines in 2012. At the third IGR meeting in Manila Declaration has been produced which contains an agreement to prioritize GPA on the protection of the marine environment from sources of pollution of nutrients, wastewater, and marine waste from the land.
Selanjutnya sambutan dari perwakilan pemerintah Filipina, di mana Filipina merupakan tuan rumah dari penyelenggaraan IGR yang ketiga.
Ladies and gentlemen, next we continue the agenda with speech of the representative of the third IGR host from the Philippines. May Mr. May Oprasio, UN Focal Person Embassy of the Republic of Philippines in Nairobi, would you please?
Minister of Environment and Forestry of the Republic of Indonesia, Governor of Bali, representatives of UNEP, other ministers, distinguished guests, a pleasant good morning to all. Almost 7 years ago, on January 23 to 26, 2012, the Republic of the Philippines was deeply honored to host the Global Conference on Land-Ocean Connection and chair the Third Intergovernmental Review Meeting on the implementation of the Global Program of Action for the protection of the marine environment from land-based activities. It is where more than 400 delegates from 65 countries met to review the implementation of the GPA, provide policy guidance for its further implementation, and adopt a program of work for the GPA Coordination Office for 2012-2016. The same meeting adopted the Manila Declaration on furthering the implementation of the GPA, which highlighted the importance of partnerships and management of defined pollutants, such as nutrients, marine litter, and wastewater. The Manila Declaration also emphasized, among others, the commitment to a comprehensive, continuing, and adaptive action within the framework of Integrated Coastal Management, or ICM, or reach-to-reef approaches. Looking back, the Philippines has come a long way in the implementation of the GPA. Allow us to share with you some of our progress and accomplishments. Realizing the importance of connectivity between the terrestrial, freshwater, and coastal and marine ecosystems in addressing marine pollution, the Philippines continually strengthens its upstream management by mainstreaming ICM strategies and activities to the resource use and development plans of the local government units. In terms of national policies, proposed bills have already been presented in both the upper and lower houses to ban, phase out, tax, or regulate the use of plastic bags in the country. While it takes a while to adapt this into a national law, there are already localized actions being initiated by a number of our local government units and private sectors. The use of commercially viable and environmentally friendly packaging alternatives, as well as zero-waste products, is likewise already being promoted by many private groups and individuals. The Philippines is a long-time participant to the International Coastal Cleanup initiated by the Ocean Conservancy, or ICC. ICC not just helps in identifying main sources and types of debris, but also helps in raising awareness and engaging people to take part in cleaning the coasts. We also launched the hashtag Clean Seas Pilipinas campaign this year in support to the global rally against marine litter. We will continue to conduct activities like this that would lead to adoption of favorable behaviors and practices and eventually reduce the amount of debris entering the marine environment. We are also proud to share that the Philippines is now on its second year of implementation of its Coastal and Marine Ecosystems Management Program, or CMEMP. The CMEMP is a 12-year government program which aims to holistically address the threats and delivers of degradation of the marine environment. CMEMP covers an all-inclusive marine resources management, from capacitating managers to mobilizing communities and partners, and even developing standards and guidelines. It may also be worthy to share our experiences in rehabilitating the world-renowned tourist destination, the Boracay Island, which has long been challenged by improper waste management, nutrient runoff, and wastewater discharge directly to the sea. Despite being a top global tourist destination, the government ordered for a 6-month closure to allow the island to breathe and rehabilitate. Through multi-agency and multi-sectoral cleaning and rehabilitation effort, we are positive that Boracay is already on its way back to its pristine state. The number of tourists allowed to enter the island is already in accordance to the carrying capacity of the area. Now, as we continue to move forward, may we create synergies and strengthen partnerships in developing innovative strategies and solutions to address marine environment degradation from land-based sources. This meeting is indeed a vital platform to share knowledge, best practices, as well as sensible actions and commitments in order to achieve a pollution-free marine environment. To conclude, we would like to give our heartfelt thanks to the United Nations Environment Program for their dedication, untiring efforts, and invaluable assistance as Secretariat of the GPA Coordination Office and organizer of this meeting. Our gratitude goes to the Republic of Indonesia as well for hosting the IGR4 and the many other international gatherings for the ocean this year. With Indonesia now being the chair of the fourth IGR, we are confident that the objectives and advocacy of this gathering will be secured and guarded by yet another active and committed nation in saving the marine environment from multiple land-based pollutants. The Philippines' commitment and support stands strong with all of the nations represented here in achieving this particular mission. With synergy and active collaboration, together, we will surely live to see a healthy and thriving global marine environment, free from pressure of marine debris. Thank you very much, and we fervently wish for the success of this meeting.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, and for the next speech, we kindly invite Mr. Habib El Haber, as Coordinator of Global Program of Action UN Environment, to deliver the speech. Will you please?
Excellency Ibu Siti Nurbaya, Minister of Environment and Forestry of the Republic of Indonesia, Governor of Bali, let me start by joining the colleagues in presenting my sincere condolences to the government and people of Indonesia for the tragic loss of 188 people due to the plane crash early this week. Our prayers go to the families of the victims. May their souls rest in peace. Excellencies, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to draw your attention to two things that happened recently that I think are important for all of us here. The first one is that our Oceans Conference was held a couple of days ago, and a huge amount of commitments relevant to the marine pollution were made. We congratulate the government of Indonesia and other organizers for a well-executed multi-stakeholder conference. The second thing is that I was checking on what was happening in the outside world by surfing through the news headlines. Plastic, nutrient pollutions, and wastewater are among headlines news. You can recall in the news out of the United States this past July, when harmful red tide algal blooms affected the waters of western South Florida, that forced the closure of recreational beaches, killed off vast numbers of marine life, and resulted in economic losses to tourism in the millions. This past September, the BBC reported an incident in Wales where a leak in the Five Fords wastewater treatment works that killed thousands of fish. And one of the biggest stories, of course, this week was on plastic pollution. These stories are big deals, and not just because of the results, which honestly were depressing but not really surprising for those of us working in this field. It was a big deal because people are now talking about these issues. The stories were all over the news. They were being talked about on breakfast chat shows. Nutrients, wastewater, and plastic pollutions have become a kitchen table conversation. People were asking questions. What does this mean for our health? What are the dangers? What can we do to stop this? It's important because pollution just got personal. Of course, this comes at the end of concerted efforts by us all to put these issues on the map. For the GPA, it has been a topic for the last 23 years. As we take stock of achievements since the last Intergovernmental Review Meeting in 2012, I think we've now hit a turning point. There is a global grasp of the scale of the problem, in particular for marine plastic litter, the most tangible and visible of the priority areas. But there is also an increasing focus on the silent and invisible forms of pollution, wastewater and nutrients. These two dissolve in water, hence invisible, but their impact on both human and environmental health are significant. People are hungry for information, they're hungry for answers, and they're hungry for solutions. Manufacturers are also taking note. Some are on the offensive, some are going defensive, while many others are trying to do the right thing. In other words, we are moving markets, attitudes, and behaviors. It's been a long, hard slog to get this far, taking this issue from being niche research for a certain class of nerds to breakfast radio chat shows. Back in 2012, not only did we have the IGR-3, but we also set a goal to reduce marine pollution considerably by 2025. We're grabbing headlines, but the numbers don't lie either. With the increased production projections for plastic, our goal seems as far away than ever before. While the world, rightly so, addresses the scourge of plastics in our oceans, we must not forget, however, the equally significant challenges we faced with untreated wastewater and nutrient discharges that have massive ecosystem and public health implications, many of those not well understood, particularly on things like endocrine disruptors and pharmaceuticals, harmful algal blooms, and how climate change influences may worsen the situation. Still, we at the UN Environment have a sense of optimism. Through the UNEP process and resolution on marine litter, water pollution, and soil pollution, we have seen the energy and resolve amongst member states that proves we can talk it all the way. We know we still have to build the details of the science. We cannot stress this enough. Action must be evidence-based. This includes pointing out the state of the problems, but it also means using this information to inform priority actions and solutions upstream. Monitoring is therefore crucial. With developments in technology, we do, however, see Earth observations as an exciting field to support monitoring efforts with ground truthing by monitoring programs and citizen science in support of indicators for marine litter, nutrients, and wastewater. We must continue to build action at all levels: local, national, regional, and global. That means building more partnerships and working with communities, companies, and governments. We've heard here about communication and outreach. We know this is working, and we have to keep up the momentum. We have to keep the message clear and fresh. We cannot bore people into action. We need to focus more on translating the impacts into economic terms. We need to really move the markets so that companies begin to take responsibilities, not just for their products, but also their packaging and consumption behavior and pattern. For us to move the needle, we must work with all stakeholders. Upon your request, we have focused work through the Global Partnerships on Marine Litter, Global Partnership on Nutrient Management, and the Global Wastewater Initiative. These are existing platforms that can be used to coordinate and boost further action. There are a lot of new initiatives on the priority topics. We ask that, in order to ensure coordinated action, that you provide guidance on how you see bilateral and/or other initiatives feeding into or linking to the partnerships. With limited time and resources, the worst thing we can do is to end up in a turf war on how to solve the problems. Trust me, they are big enough for all of us to play a part in it. On a final note, I'd ask all of you to make your voices heard by taking an active part in the UN Environment Assembly process. either representing your country or by becoming accredited to the UN. For the marine litter, the upcoming second meeting of the ad hoc open-ended expert groups that will be held beginning of December in Geneva will provide input to UNEA4 on options for the future work in this field. Ladies and gentlemen, for these 2 days, we look forward to working with you to see how we decisively ramp up action to combat land-based pollution. Again, thank you for your support and to the government of Indonesia for hosting us here. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, now it gives me a great pleasure to call upon Her Excellency Siti Ibu Nurbaya, Minister of Environment and Forestry of the Republic of Indonesia, to deliver her opening statement and officially open the Intergovernmental Review Meeting of the GPA. Thank you.
Honorable Executive Director of UN Environment, this morning represented by Ms. De Chansering, Regional Director Asia Pacific, and all of the UN Environment team. Esteemed colleagues, ministers from member states of GPA, Honorable Governor of Bali, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to each and every one of you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu. First of all, on behalf of the government of the Republic of Indonesia, I welcome you to the island of paradise, Bali. I have the great pleasure to host this Fourth Intergovernmental Review IGR meeting on the Global Program of Action, or GPA, for the protection of the marine environment from land-based activities. This occasion should have taken place last year, but due to unexpected natural condition by the eruption of Mount Agung, we had to reschedule the event to today's gathering. Our special thanks extended to the Governor of Bali for providing this beautiful island as the venue for this event. Later today, we will start our series of discussion addressing of the issues of the protection of the marine environment. It seems to me that the complexity of the global challenges can be peacefully discussed and solved in this island of gods. Before going further, on behalf of the government of the Republic of Indonesia, I would like to express my deep appreciation to all parties who have shown their sympathy and condolences for the loss of nearly 200 of lives from tragic aeroplane accident last Monday. There are no words that will help take away the pain and sadness from such a horrific event at the aeroplane accident. Our gratitude also go for the sympathy for the people of Lombok during the difficult times when they suffer from the earthquake, as well as to the people of Central Sulawesi, especially Palu Donggala and Sigi, who have suffered losses and who are in distress caused by the earthquake, tsunami, and the liquefaction recently. We are confident that we will be able to overcome this unfortunate situation from natural disasters and return to the normal life. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia attaches great importance on the sustainability of the planet, in particular on the issues of climate change, mercury, water, and air pollution, as well as the survival of our biodiversity and sees as the legacy for our future generation so that they can still enjoy and live in harmony with nature. Indonesia has, therefore, every interest in the implementation of various multilateral environmental agreements, among others, the Paris Agreement on Climate Change and the Minamata Convention on Mercury. This demonstrates that Indonesia is fully committed to the implementation of global agreements. Only recently, Indonesia has just issued a national policy on the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development as a follow-up of the global agenda. On the coastal and marine issues, Indonesia has also developed and implemented a number of national policies, strategies and programs, and activities dealing with the protection of the coastal and marine ecosystem from land-based activities with the participation of all stakeholders, government, local government, academicians, activists, as well as communities. The IGR meeting of GPA has been very important. During IGR 4, we will be discussing and assessing the implementation of the program and to renew our commitment as reflected in the 2001 Montreal Declaration of the Protection of the Marine Environment from Land-Based Activities, the 2006 Beijing Declaration on Furthering the Implementation of the Global Program of Action, and the 2012 Manila Declaration on Furthering the Implementation of the Global Program of Action, and to find the way forward for effective management and use of coastal and marine ecosystem resources for years to come. It is my hope that we can reach recommendations to be adopted as the Bali Declaration of, or whatever we can say it, as further guidance of the GPA to be forwarded to the UNEP 4 in Nairobi next year. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, our marine and coastal ecosystem are threatened from both sea-based and land-based activities, and up to 80% of marine pollution comes from land-based human activities. These sources include sewage, persistent organic pollutants, radioactive substances, heavy metals, oils, nutrients, sediment mobilization, litters, as well as physical alteration and destruction of habitats. And we have to tackle these crucial problems together. We recognize that coastal and marine ecosystems provide enormous environmental services for economic, ecological, and social aspects. Pollution and damage to ecosystem have detrimental effects to the income of the community, especially those living from the sea, such as fishermen, tourism industry, and sea transportation services, to name but a few. They also cause a degradation in environmental functions and quality, resulting in the loss of marine biodiversity. Globally, we are faced with new challenges in marine environmental issues, such as plastics and microplastics pollution, emerging pollutants such as pharmaceuticals, endocrine disruptors, hormones, toxins, and eutrophication. To make matters worse, our coastal and marine ecosystem also receive a significant impact due to the increase of the global sea surface temperature and marine acidification caused by climate change. I trust that the IGR Forum in Bali will produce commitments that are useful to solve the problem of marine pollution originating from the land-based activities. The activities must be carried out by all member states and implemented in the framework of cooperation among countries by enhancing the capacity in the field of human resources, knowledge, and transfer of technology. Related to the reduction of impact from land-based activities, Indonesia has made its commitments to reduce solid waste up to 70% by 2025. President Joko Widodo in this regard issued a presidential decree in 2017 last year regarding national policy and strategy on solid waste management, which is called Jakstranas. In addition, President Joko Widodo also announced last month a presidential regulation number 38 year of 2018 addressing a strategic action plan on combating marine debris from 2018 to 2025. The approach includes several activities, among others conducting national movement on public awareness, handling marine debris from land-based activities, collecting funding, strengthening institutions, and empowering its supervision. These activities shall engage all stakeholders related to the protection of marine environment. Indonesia has urged commitments from 156 companies to reduce plastic waste and carried out coastal cleanup in 19 sites, as well as rehabilitation of coral reefs in 23 locations. Indonesia has also launched our national action plan to reduce plastic waste through various activities that must be carried out by all stakeholders. In coping with the complexity of coastal and marine environmental problems, which have linkages with many sectors and land-based activities, we have already completed an evaluation of 18 coastal cities. The protection of marine pollution from land-based activities has been under the UN Environment and coordinated by GPA Coordination Office. We would like to express our appreciation and thanks to the Executive Director of UN Environment and the Coordination Office that have carried out this challenging task. We realize that the challenge ahead will be even greater, and we need to think about how the future GPA institutions are formulated so that they can be effectively implemented in achieving the goals of the programs. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is my fervent hope that during the next 2 days of the IGR meeting, we will be able to productively discuss and produce good recommendations and results for finding solutions to strengthen the capacity of the GPA Coordination Office, in particularly those coming from the institutional perspective, so that it can fully function through our common coordination of the program, and of course, the capacity of all states who is involved in this agenda. And the coming UNEA4 will be the right forum to discuss further. Finally, let me address my thanks to all team, the UN Environment and Ministry of Environment and Forestry, as well as Ministry of Foreign Affairs for making this event happen. Let me also thank all delegates and participants for interest, contributions, and active participation in this important meeting. During your short stay in Bali, please make time to enjoy the culture, culinary, and panorama of this beautiful island of Bali. Now, I declare the IGR meeting is open. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, the Minister of Environment and Forestry of the Republic of Indonesia. May I please remain on the stage. And we invite the Governor of Bali and Regional Director Asia Pacific representing UN Environment to accompany the Minister to officially open the conference by striking of the gong.
Selanjutnya kami mengundang, mohon berkenan Gubernur Bali dan Direktur Regional Asia Pasifik untuk mendampingi Ibu Menteri meresmikan acara pembukaan ini yang ditandai dengan pemukulan gong. Kami silakan.
Continue with the striking of the gong as marking the opening of the Fourth IGR Meeting 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations on the Fourth Intergovernmental Review Meeting 2018.
The Minister of Environment and Forestry of Republic of Indonesia, the Governor of Bali, Regional Director Asia Pacific, please remain on the stage. And we continue with photo session. We also kindly invite the Minister of Tourism and Environment of Republic of Congo, the Secretary of State for Environment of Timor-Leste, the Vice Minister of Environment and Natural Resources of Guatemala, Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs, Trade, Tourism, Environment and Labor of Tuvalu. Please come up to the stage to join the photo session.
Thank you very much. May I have a seat? Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as the photo session finished, it means that our program for the opening ceremony is concluded. And then we invite the Minister of Environment and Forestry of Republic of Indonesia, a United Nations Environment, to have a press statement that outside the ballroom.
And once again, thank you very much to be here with us. Enjoy your day and have a nice conference.
And we kindly inform to all the participants and delegates, may please remain on the ballroom, and we will continue the agenda with the plenary meeting. Thank you.
Yang dua.
Mic-nya.
Hi. Sorry. We know that when we come back, we need maybe to help set up the co-chair for this meeting. So there are some rooms allocated down. I realize that the African group is a big group. If they want really to consult each other before to nominate their representative, there are a room just outside on the left, and the other group, there are also other rooms if you want to get together just before we come back. Just that you know that there's space available where you could at least consult yourself, between yourself. Okay, thank you. Hello. So we have some rooms. The African group can go to Pandaga. Pandaka is just next door. And the Latin America group have a room on Balangan. And the Western Europe and Sawanga. It's all on your left. There are some rooms allocated. Thank you.
Udah duluan.
Soalnya kalau yang ini harus dari kita ya, jadi tidak dari mereka. Ini ya. Ah gitu. Iya, betul. Ini sebenarnya tadi kalau sebelum sebelumnya selesai, sudah kita presentasi ke MC, bisa ke MC itu sudah gak tugas lagi. Iya, hari ini dia kan udah selesai hari ini. Lalu nanti jalan hari ini langsung dia. Nanti kalau MC yang masuk ya, karena sekarang langsung di handle sama semua. Kalau itunya dia ngejar semua dia di MC waktu di sini. Masalahnya sekarang nggak ada ini siapa dia tuh coba deh nanti kalau saya lihat di karena kalau tadi sebelum bicara jadi 5 menit terus sebelum itu besar karena di dalam dia kalau dari kemarin soalnya udah tugas sudah selesai ya coba nanti ya makasih I did not forget for your
So may I kindly have your attention, please, to all the delegates, participants who are still outside the ballroom. So please kindly proceed to the ballroom and take your seats. So we will continue the agenda with the plenary meeting. So once again, to all delegates, participants, so please kindly proceed to the ballroom and take your seat. So we will continue the agenda with the plenary meeting. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we start, please?
So once again, we would like to invite to all the participants, delegates, please proceed to the ballroom and take your seat. So we will start the plenary meeting in shortly. Thank you.
Hello. We realized that maybe Western Europe are not aware of their room. The room is Sawaranga downstairs. Just maybe for 10-minute consultation if you want to get there together. The room is downstairs, Sawarangan. Thank you.
It is important, please, to have a nomination from the Western and other groups for the chair, for the co-chair. So if you would like to meet, there is a meeting room down for coordination purposes. The African group and the GRULAC are already in their own room, and they have almost done their work. So please, the Western Europe and other groups, if you can meet and come up with a nomination, because we would like to start the plenary immediately. Thank you.
Sorry, the GRULAC group is in their room, and they really are requesting Belize and Trinidad and Tobago to. Okay, thank you.
So
We are part.
no, they're registered.
I would request, please, all the delegates to come into the room and take their seats. We are going to start the plenary. Colleagues, can you call the other participants from outside?